Hello and welcome to Macro Mondays here on Landy's Crypto Corner. Today is January 27th, 2025, and we're looking at Bitcoin as always, following up with where we left off on our Friday video. We did get a move down below $101,000, but we did not get a close down below there. So while the wick did spike into the 97.7 area, we aren't really looking for a move down to $96,000 unless we start seeing Bitcoin trade back below the basis band and then possibly going in for a swing of this wick low. Now we're going to take a look at support and resistance areas, but Bitcoin closed above the $101,000, so it's still in the support zone on a closing basis, and that's good. What I will say is in terms of trend, we have this trend reversal structure. We have the higher high, higher low, and a close, but that big old wick up, which was on the same candle that helped form this higher low and a close and swing, well, that was going to be difficult for Bitcoin to really chew through in this area on one go. And we did, of course, see another higher low trying to be set here coming into Friday and over the weekend. We ended up seeing a lower high. Now we do have a lower high and a lower low swing. We do not have a lower low close, at least thus far. Now, if Bitcoin does start to close back below $101,000, excuse me, then I would look for the basis band as the next logical target. They're at 100,500. Anywhere below there, this swing low from the Monday candle. Of course, the Tuesday session is open, but it's still Monday for me. But any kind of, even medium-term time frame closes, like I would say a 4-hour would do it, possibly even an hourly if it starts to swing back below the basis band here, below $100,500, $100,000 or so. Then I'd look for this low to be fair game, somewhere around the 97, 715, 700 area or so, down to that $95,000 to $96,000 area of interest. So let's go ahead and turn on the local support and resistance zones here. We can see Bitcoin still closing well within our green zone here, trying to maintain this area as a flip of resistance into support. We've already seen it as support over here on the close open. Nice little swings below there at that 99,400 to 500 area. Of course, the move back to make a higher high on a close, slightly higher high on a close here at 106,160. Of course, as compared to the close over here at 106,136. So we did get a slightly higher high close. We got higher high swings. But this structure, did fail to set another higher low off of the $101,000 and ended up setting a lower high instead. Nice big spike down. Anywhere below here, we're looking down to the lower for somewhere around $95,000 to $96,000, right by this SR flip level. And of course, anywhere below there, we're looking down to $92,000 at first by the lower second. And I just noticed that somehow my box, my area of interest here, got moved. So let's go ahead and see if we can't correct this and bring it back to where the red zone should be for the tighter range here. And that's much better. All right. So, not too much has really changed structurally. Yes, there is a lower high. Yes, there is a lower low swing. We had the trend reversal set up but no continuation, which spells more consolidation. And, it's kind of where the market's at right now. Traditional markets took a pretty big hit. Obviously, NVIDIA shedding a lot of value in the Monday session in response to the DeepSeek AI stuff. And kind of a little bit of a revaluing, I think, might be starting to occur in that sector. But on the backs of that, we've seen some other AI agents launch tokens in the same day and are very successful. So, we're in this weird transitionary period in markets where markets are trying to digest what is going on in the political sphere and how that's going to impact financial markets, right? And the real economy, right? So there is rightly so some tentativeness from those bigger players in the market. So I do think we're going to see some repositioning market wide, which as it's painting right now on Bitcoin is just spelling possible more consolidation. But there is some criteria to look out for here in terms of structure. So if Bitcoin can close anywhere above Monday's high at 103,228, that would set a technical low. That would set this low as a nice swing low down here at 97,715. But what I would want to see is Bitcoin trading back above the 1272 fib extension level here and $104,000. That's the 5th of December high over here, and setting the actual low on a closing basis above 104,730. So basically right where this lower high is coming in, somewhere around here. And even better if it can start trading back above 105.5, then we're looking at the highs getting ran, possible continuation to that high up there at 109,360 or so. And, as I've mentioned many times before, above 104, I'm looking to 106 at the close open highs here, right? So bang on just about with these two close open highs and this close open higher high. Above there, another $2,000 up, 106 to 108 as the fair game area. And then 108 to 110, 110 to 112. Then volatility begins to increase substantially. So that would put things above the upper second, kind of between the upper second and upper third here on the daily in terms of standard deviations away from the basis band. In this case, I don't think that it's ready for a very large move right now, even if it does move to the highs above 112, right? We could potentially start to look for, 115, like between 112 and 115. And then I would look for larger appreciation in price at about $5,000 at a time above 115 until we got to 130. So 115 to 120, 120 to 125, 125 to 130. That's kind of what I'd be looking for. We do have the monthly close coming in this week, Friday. So with the close of CME for the month, we'll also see spot price close on Friday before we actually get the weekly close. So we're going to talk about that on Wednesday, because by the time I record the video on Friday, the monthly will have already been closed on CME and spot. And in this case, there is some things to pay attention to on some of those longer term timeframes. But let's talk about a few things more here. On the daily, we have our RSI. We did get an ever so slight bit of bearish divergence, I believe. Yeah, and did it actually populate? What was the level here? So this one's coming in at 64.48. This one's coming in at 64.78. Yeah, it's not really populating on this particular indicator, even though we did get higher highs and a close. So we've already seen, in my opinion, the move, especially with the low coming in here at that 97,715 on the Monday low. The majority of that move has already kind of played out, right, on the daily in terms of that bearish divergence, right? And in this case, and actually, am I reading this right? Yeah, no, higher. The highest painted here, the highest painted here. Yeah, it was bearish divergence. Not sure why this indicator isn't picking it up. I thought it was on Friday, but maybe not. And to be quite honest, putting in a low here, even though it would be a higher low on a close in relation to this higher low on a close here, it would be a lower low on a swing. And we would need to see continuation for the trend reversal to start confirming with full uptrend, in my personal opinion. And of course, that would be above 109, 400 to 500 or so, depending on your chart. When looking at a regular Stoke, this one's a little goofed up. Sorry, let me go ahead and fix that. We're looking at a momentum pivot of, that can't be right. Really? Oh, no. Okay, I was looking at the wrong numbers there. All right, momentum pivot's going to be 106. So essentially, right back to the close open highs up here, right? And then we will see a momentum shift, indicating that the very next closure, if it wasn't already pushing up to the all-time high and higher, we would need to see that as criteria to begin confirming the momentum shift and then heading up towards the 106 to $108,000 level and possibly beyond. What I will tell you is with the look on BWP, which you can see in the lower right hand corner up there, or on the main portion of the chart here, while I'm switching over up top to the actual charted version, I don't think Bitcoin's ready to go on its next leg just yet. Could that start to form over the next few days if Bitcoin does put in a low here? And start meeting the criteria to set that low on the daily on closes, like I said, above 103, 228, 230 or so. We could start to see it. Again, I still need to see close opens, coming in basically above $105,000. That would do it for me in terms of setting this low on a closing basis and solidifying this swing low as the swing low to watch from then on out. Right now, we're still working off a lower high, so as long as it's above 101, like I said, then we're looking okay for now. And one of the other things that I wanted to point out here is volume since getting into this consolidation structure. Let's go ahead and kind of squish this down a little bit, maybe a little bit more. All right, so you see volume is dropping. So we had nice high volume, obviously, on the 5th. And this is telling us, from this move up to consolidation, we're getting less and less volume here. And that, we're looking for this to possibly consolidate as noted by BWP, both the charted format. And of course, that is reflected in the landing bands down here in the box in the lower right. It's got to get up over the moving average and then confirm above the moving average with the moving average moving up at the same angle or a similar angle. So essentially like this back here, we're looking for this crossover and then the moving average to start heading up. And it's a little far away from doing that. So this might, while it might even chop around the highs, maybe even make slightly new highs, even if it pushes back to the top side, it's not like primed and ready for the next leg, at least as it stands right now. We'll see where things are on Wednesday, especially if it holds, closes above this close open higher low here at around that 101, 175. So that's going to be something that I'll be watching throughout the week. Let's go ahead and take a look at the weekly, actually. And I want to note that Bitcoin did close above the upper first, right? So let's go ahead and get rid of our local support and resistance zones of interest. We'll zoom out here for a moment and just kind of note where things are. So on the weekly, obviously we had the big move up. We were coming off of the ETF news, right? ETF high to the higher low on the weekly, and then we went into the sideways and down consolidation and compression here on the bands for price volatility. Now, again, we're talking about big ranges here, so there's a lot of opportunity on both sides of the trade. For those of you that regularly trade or day trade, you just got to be careful you don't get taken out in those lower term time frames, like many of the breakdown shorts did today. Or, well, it's Monday. Tuesday candle's open, but it's still Monday. So today, for me, a lot of breakdown traders got absolutely destroyed when it moved right back to the top side. But we saw this compression. We saw the higher high, higher low structure, higher high, and we need to see Bitcoin maintain a higher low structure here on the weekly. What you don't want to see, bulls, is you don't want to see a lower high on the weekly here. Now, granted, it is a higher high on a swing. You don't want to see a lower high close here. And obviously, if we did see something like that, we need to see this low hold up, or else, $89,000 probably heading down, right? 85,933 on the daily. That's essentially right in the zone of interest, that $85,000 wick low. After the daily expansion to the top side, the first big, the first red day had a wick low at $85,000, which now the basis band is above. So if we go ahead and turn that on, that's from the daily candle, and the first red candle after the daily expansion up. And that's at $85,000. The weekly basis band is there and above now. That's a good thing for the bulls. That is what you want to see. We see that the lower first is down here at $70,000. So again, even if Bitcoin dumped out in a hellacious way, this is kind of where I'd be looking. If below 85, I'd be looking to 80 to 85 as the main zone, and then below 80, 75 to 80, anywhere below there, we're looking to 70 to 75, which would be a retest on the weekly of this top side of this structure, and consolidation from spring to summer into fall of 2024. So nothing too crazy here. Bulls, you do want to see, the continuation. You want to see highs, the highs taken out probably this week. And that would look really good coming into February. Of course, trading and closing above the upper first standard deviation is also what we want to see coming into February. That is now at 101,625. And just note how that is lining up with some of the daily support and resistance zones. Again, main zone is basically between 101 and 104. For Bitcoin, you see the upper first standard deviation on the weekly is right where Bitcoin is trading, right in this green zone. And any closures above it, and we're going to be biased towards, the highs and potentially up to the upper second. And that is now coming in at 117. If Bitcoin turns this candle green this week, it starts to push up here, you're likely going to see intra-week, the upper second start to adjust up a little bit. Probably 118, 120 is fair game if Bitcoin were to really move to the upside with any kind of substantial volatility, especially on the daily. But again, the daily isn't indicating that just yet, but we'll see where we are come Wednesday. One of the bigger things for Bitcoin here on the weekly is you can see that we're in a cool down phase for BBWP, as noted by price kind of going sideways in and around this upper first standard deviation. Basis band starting to creep in on the bottom side of the range, lower first curled up and not an expansive posture. So we can still see consolidations, breakouts, or grinds up with higher volatility that still make substantially higher highs, especially when we are in a high volatility environment. One of the bigger things, I guess, that we'll take a look at from here is kind of where things are falling on the monthly, as we are going to be referencing that on Wednesday and then, of course, on Friday after the monthly closes, because I will be recording that video after the daily close, which will be the monthly close. And I just want to note that the upper third standard deviation is up here at 124, almost $125,000. We want to see on the monthly, we'd like to see the bulls close above 102,216. Bitcoin is currently trading slightly below there. That is the upper second standard deviation. Main reason why, that will preserve volatility to the upside. We're currently sitting at a 32.23, under 32.45. So this is showing, basically it's reflecting this consolidation on the monthly and then move up. And we haven't yet hit its expansion phase. There is the possibility that we could see re-expansion on closes January into February if we do see closes above that 102, 200 or so. That would look pretty good. Now, what I will say is closes above 90,500 or so on the monthly, going to preserve that upside momentum for Stoke. Last higher low, again, is down here at $49,000. Anyone that's saying like, oh my God, bear market's on. How about you look at the monthly, please? We have our lower high set and then a higher low trend break all the way up to brand new all-time high, and then a higher low at $49,000 and then another push up, right? So we're in a nice bullish uptrending structure. And then from here, even if it put in a high, we would have to see $49,000 taken out on a close for the structure to break, right? And that's, it wouldn't look good if Bitcoin went all the way down there, but it's just not, I'm seeing some crazy kind of downside price targets and people calling the market over and all that. It's just not, that's not what's being painted on the charts. So it's kind of silly. One of the other things that I am going to reference here on the weekly, so we'll go back to the weekly just real quick here. I just wanted to take a quick look at the monthly first. Let's go ahead and look at the weekly again. Closes above 97,153. And again, Bitcoin didn't even get to this pivot number and it's a little spike down on Monday. So definitely something to watch, but we could see a nice bullish reset within the context of the bullish control zone of a regular stochastic momentum indicator, not a Stoch RSI. For those that don't know the difference, Stoch RSI measures the velocity or the speed of RSI. We've already been referencing RSI. We don't need another indicator to take a look at what's happening with RSI when we just referenced it. So instead, I use the regular stochastic momentum indicator, which measures close over close price momentum, in this case on the weekly. Any closes above this 97,150 or so would get another cross back to the upside. We would need to see follow through in the first week of February above whatever the pivot number would be to really get the confirmation thereafter. Yes, he can front run it on lower term timeframes, but just be careful doing so because you do want to wait for confirmation in many cases. Not that it's not tradable, but for making longer term decisions about where you think price is going to go in terms of thesis. But so far, a little bit of a dip, nice spike down, nice volatile candle on the daily. We're in a big range, so things are going to get volatile. Don't puke your positions over a couple of volatile days. And that's, if you're convicted that things are going to fall, stay in your short position. If you're convicted things are going to long or rise, stay in your long positions. You have to have conviction in what it is that you're seeing and trade what it is that you're seeing. You might see something different than I am or have a different trading methodology. Take advantage of a winning setup for yourself, maybe in the lower term timeframes. But don't take to the timeline and say that it's a bear market is starting right from here and we've double topped and it's over, because that's not been confirmed. If you're a person that's doing that, I would urge you not to, because it kind of makes you look silly. And now I don't know if I'm talking to anybody that's of that opinion at this point, but understand that confirmation is everything, and we're very far off from confirmation at this particular point in time. And I'm going to leave you with that. I'll see you on Wednesday for the check-in. You have a wonderful morning, afternoon, and evening, no matter where you are in the world. Please trade safe. And of course, as always, stay safe. With all of that being said, Landy out. Take care.